Hello and welcome to my channel, where in this series I cover past VCAA Maths Methods exam questions, providing you guys with a full work solution and also covering some simple tips and the common pitfalls and mistakes to watch out for along the way. In today's video I'll be going through question 3 of the 2020 Non-Calc VCAA exam, and I'll invite you guys to first have an attempt at this question before I run through the work solution if you haven't already done so. Attempting questions, even if you're getting them wrong, and then checking your answers is really the best way to learn. So without further ado, let's have a look at the examiner's report. So up on the screen at the moment, you can see that this question was out of 3 marks and the average was only 1.5, and only 23% obtained full marks here. So in general, not answered terribly well for something that's relatively straightforward, but there are a couple tricks to look out for, and so the way the question is presented maybe makes it a little bit more confusing or scary than really what it should be. So let's have a look at the question. Shown below is part of the graph of a period of the function of the form y is equal to tan of ax plus b. The graph is continuous for x is an element between -1 and +1. Find the value of a and the value of b where a is greater than 0 and b is between 0 and 1. So we know a is positive, b is also positive, but between 0 and 1. And we can see we've got two sort of asymptotes, normal tan sort of function. And where do we go from here? So really the key thing that we need to identify is the fact that we've got two unknowns, right? A and b. And we're also given 2 points. So 2 points there. So really this is just another form of getting a simultaneous equations type of problem. So how are we going to start this? Let's start off by picking any of the 2 points and substituting them into the equation. So we'll have -1 is equal to tan of minus a plus b. And then if we sort of couple ways to go from here, depending on how you like to think about it. So we can either take the inverse tan of -1. Inverse tan of -1 is going to be equal to minus a plus b. Or in other words, what angle is required to give us a value of -1? Tan of what angle? So if you sort of recall the unit circle, something like this here, we know tan gives us -1 when we have an angle like that. So we've either got minus pi on 4 here, or we'd have 3 pi on 4 here. So I'm just going to choose minus pi on 4 is equal to minus a plus b, and that's our first equation. Done. Great, let's take the second point and do the same thing. So taking the second point, we're going to have square root of 3 is equal to tan of a plus b. So again, what angle of tan would give us the square root of 3? That the workings can be shown as the inverse tan of root 3 is equal to a plus b. And hopefully you guys are good with your exact values, and you know that this will be pi on 3 or 60 degrees to give us that value of root 3 is equal to a plus b. Great. So that's equation 2. So we can see minus pi on 4 is equal to minus a plus b, and pi on 3 is equal to a plus b. So how are we going to eliminate one of the variables? The simplest way that I can see here would just be to add these two equations together. We can see the minus a and the a terms will cancel out. So by doing that, we're going to have, we'll say minus pi on 4 plus pi on 3 is equal to 2b. Rearrange this, put this over the same common denominator. So we can see if we multiply this by 3 on 3, it would give us a denominator of 12, and this by 4 on 4, then we'll also get 12. So we want 12 as the lowest common denominator here, and that's going to end up giving us 4 pi minus 3 pi, which would be just pi on 12, and then to get b on its own, we divide both sides by 2. So we're just going to have b is equal to pi on 24. Oops, that's a bit weird, don't know what happened there. So that's the first one done. Great. And then finding A is relatively straightforward. We just take this solution and then sub it into one of these equations. So let's just sub it into 2. It doesn't matter which one. It should work out the same either way. So therefore, to get A, I'll just first do the substitution step, is equal to A plus pi on 24. To get A on its own, we'll have to subtract that from both sides. So this is going to be pi on 3, but I'm going to save a line of workings here and convert pi on 3 to be 8 pi on 24 minus pi on 24, which would be 7 pi on 24. Great, so we have A is equal to 7 pi on 24. Don't know why whiteboard's doing that. Anyways, hopefully you guys can see the answer. 7 pi on 24. Good enough, you guys get the idea. Cool, so that's the answer. The next thing to sort of do, the final step, would be to confirm that we've met the requirements of the restrictions on these variables. So A had to be positive, A is positive, and B had to be between 0 and 1. We know pi is roughly 3.14, but let's just say 3. So 3 on 24s satisfies an 8 is between that range there. So that would be correct. The reason why I'm saying that we need to sort of confirm is where a lot of people would lose marks on this question is by using the wrong value of inverse tan of minus 1 at this point here. So instead of using minus pi and 4, you can see that if, I'll just do it off to the side, if we instead use the other value 3 pi on 4 and have minus A plus B and use that second equation, so it's still the same. So the second equation would be pi on 3 is equal to A plus B. And again, we would do the same thing where we take the sum of both of these equations, 1 plus 2. So 1 plus 2, put that all over 12 as well. So you end up with 9 pi on 12 plus 4 pi on 12 is equal to 2b, which would be 13 pi on 24 is equal to b. All of a sudden, if we just approximate pi to be equal to 3, we're going to have 39 on 24. So we can see that b then is going to be outside of this range of 0 to 1. So this is why this solution, we're not able to use this value here. You had to use the value of minus pi on 4, going sort of the opposite direction around the unit circle there. I think that was the main thing that the examiner's report touched on. The only other thing were people unfortunately using the incorrect value for inverse tan of the square root of 3. Some people had pi on 6, so this sort of goes back to basics, and that you really need to have a strong foundation and strong understanding of your basic angles for this question. All right, I'll leave it there for this one. If you guys found the video useful, then please give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends or classmates. If you're new to the channel, then please feel free to subscribe for more content like this in the future. Lastly, I take question requests. So if you guys have any specific questions you want answered, please either leave them in the comment section below or alternatively email me at yourmathquestions@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.